Hey, Huntington's disease, Todd here. Hey, what were you saying? I heard somebody talking on Facebook today and they were asking why their spouse always said, huh? I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. Because I've evaluated it over time and I think I've come up with some pretty good excuses at least. Maybe they'll work. Well, for one thing, I can't hear you. Actually, that's the truth. Um, if I'm sitting there and I'm watching the television or I'm doing something else and you walk in the room and say something to me, I truly can't hear you. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not trying to not listen. It's just the way my brain processes things now is different than it once was. So that's what happens with our spouse when they have Huntington's disease. There's going to be 4 points to this. So that was the first one. I can't hear you in all reality. And number two, I can't process multiple things. And number three, make sure you get my attention. And number four, are you communicating the old way? And I can't communicate that way anymore. So we've established the fact that I can't hear you when you walk in the room. Maybe that's husband's ear or wife's ear or whatever you want to call it. Wendy and I have been married for 40 years, so maybe we'll say that explains part of it. So I can't hear you. But number two is I just can't process more than one thing at a time. If I'm watching television, for example, and potentially trying to look at my cell phone to check out all the views that I got on my YouTube channel or see what's new over at Cure HD, and you walk in the room and say something, I'm likely not to understand that or I'm not able to process that. There are a lot of times where I'll stop my phone, I'll turn around and I'll look at Wendy and I'll ask her again, what were you saying, dear? What were you saying, hun? So that's number two. When you have Huntington's disease, multitasking pretty much goes out the window somewhere in the middle there of the first 10 years. So now I can't multitask, so that takes that out of the realm. And then number three, I forget what number three was, the fact that, let me just look real quick. Stop and get my attention. That's it. If you come into the room and you want to talk with me, or you want to talk with your spouse, you need to get our attention. Let us know. Say, hey, honey, I'm wondering what you would think about that for dinner, or I'm wondering what you would think about that for, going and doing something like that. It works well when Wendy and I do it that way. She does do it to me. She does get my attention, draws me into her circle. A lot of times, you'll come into a room and you'll be talking at someone from behind them. And that in itself is hard enough, right? When you're talking at someone from behind them. So that was a third point. Make sure you get our attention. So the fourth thing is, you may be communicating the old way that you're used to. I mean, you've been married forever and you know each other so well. And communicating is, the same to you. You don't notice the difference because you are still pretty much the same. You got a little bit older, maybe. Maybe you've lost a little bit to your step. But us Huntington's people, we've lost a lot to our step. So you're kind of communicating the old way, but I'm listening or hearing and communicating the new way. And the new way is I can't hear you. I can't process things more than, one at a time. And number three, you got to get my attention. And four, and finally, you have to communicate a new way so that we can have a better understanding of what we want from each other. I know it's asking a lot, and I know it's putting a lot of responsibility on you, but in all reality, it's going to be harder for me to change the way I am at this point in life. So that's why, I can't hear you, or were you saying something? Huh? Hey, all the common vernacular. This is Huntington's disease, Todd. I try to put helpful information like this at my YouTube page, and I'd love for you to go there, subscribe, and like. And I think there's some little things that'll come up down here, and you can push on the subscribe button. Huntington's disease, Todd. Have a good day.